What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a couple of Grayscale trusts today. We're going to talk about BCHG, LTCN, and GLink today. That's what we're going to talk about. Hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it, okay? Here we are at about $3.04 now. I didn't realize you had a gap down on the month like that, man. That's crazy. What? It's because of this over here, this gap down. You have filled that gap. You don't need to go up and fill that gap more. I mean, that's fine as a gap fill. You technically do have a gap all the way up here, though, at about $12. That's something worth mentioning. And even here, actually, you've got a very big gap, right? You can't see it because it doesn't look like there's a gap, but let me explain real quick. If you look at this, you close this day here, you open the next day down here, there's a gap between about $9 and $8. Inevitably, you'll probably recover on those gaps as well. Just stuff to look forward to on the high side. But before we look at the high side, I very much do expect we're going to go down a little bit, right? I think the average crypto is going to drop probably about 20 to 30%. Maybe they drop less, maybe they drop more. It's very possible, and there are some cryptos that I've looked at that have actually looked like they want to drop about 40%. So that's a very possible outcome as well. And that doesn't mean that they have to. Who knows? Maybe we don't drop at all. But my expectations are Bitcoin drops probably about 16% from its current price. The average crypto will probably double that, so 32%, if not less than that, which is like 25, 30%, maybe at least 20%. $3.04 now. If the average crypto drops, my assumption would be that this thing probably follows suits with it, right? So 20% drop for Bitcoin Cash. And maybe it does drop 20%, maybe it drops 30%, maybe it drops less, but something likely that's at least at this low, if not below that low there at 254. Unfortunately, guys, it seems like you have more to go to the downside. This low has been fun for a moment, but man, the end of February, we were a lot more bullish on March. And here we are at the end of March, man. Very bullish on April, much more bullish on May. May and June are going to be the good months. April's going to be the month where we stop really moving down. I think we'll find our lows maybe by the end of this month, if not likely sometime in early April. And then we'll work ourselves out moving up a little bit, but I think the real recovery is going to happen in May and June. Maybe toward the end of April, we can see some phenomenal gains. But anyways, looking at this from a high to a low here, it's probably not even appropriate because we probably do go below that. Looking at it from a low to a high here on Bitcoin Cash, BCHG, we have tipped the golden ratio. We found resistance at the 1272. Now we're going lower. What's $1.96 going to be from this current drop here? That would be about a 35% drop. And if Bitcoin Cash drops 20%, BCHG could drop more. If BCHG drops more than 20%, which it really could, that's it wouldn't be crazy at all to see this. It is kind of uncommon though to break below the golden ratio and not go to the 1886. So if you do get below 250, just understand $2, 196, that might be a nice psychological area to find support at. And I do have something that I want to mention on this note that I hadn't taken into account before, is that you have a gap right there, don't you? You got a little gap right there. Oh, you've already filled it though. Okay, so you've already filled it. So whatever. Some people say if a gap fill doesn't count unless you have a body close. I think a wick works, but at this rate, man, body close is definitely what it is. You don't have any. See, the wick is fine right there. Don't have any gaps anywhere else, so yeah, that's kind of it. That's nice. A little gap right there, but I don't know. Maybe you go down to this area. It's something you should be prepared for. BCHG people, 196 to 177, somewhere in that area. I think you'll stop right around $2 in no time. In no time at all. This is going to be one big bad dream. It's a very big and bad dream. This is one hell of a corrective phase, man, and it is a corrective phase. 1, 2, 3. Correction means that you are still in an overall trend to the upside. And I do think that that's exactly what's going on. But you might have a little bit more correcting to go before you have corrected fully, right? I wonder, is this going to be a reciprocated move here from a high to a low? If we put this at the high right there, look at that. Dude, that's crazy. It's literally picture perfect. This is, man, that's crazy. If only we saw that back then. But that's what I'm thinking. And then in no time at all, whenever Bitcoin Cash does make its move, I assume BCHG will also make its move. And we will likely see prices that are, if not around all-time highs, I would think new all-time highs. BCHG, I'm very confident we'll see new all-time highs by the end of this cycle. Where's it going to be? I think until we have this low, it's not necessarily appropriate to talk about, but let's just put it right around $2 and see what we can come up with. Something around $46 at a minimum, $110 at a maximum. Maybe beyond that, but you're at $3.04 now with the prospect to go down to $2. Okay, so that's where I think it's going to go. LTCN, if we do this here. By the way, not actually, this actually might not be the best crowd to talk about it, but talking about a meme coin, I think a good meme coin name, not a good meme coin to buy. It doesn't exist, but you know how there's Toshi and there's Shiba Inu. If you combined them and you made a Toshiba, I thought that was clever. I might make a meme coin. It'll be called Toshiba, and then we will take all of our liquidity, we will sell it onto our investors, and we will buy Beanie Babies. From a low to a high here, LTCN has found support at its golden ratio at the 618, and I have to be honest, LTC is holding up pretty well. It's holding up pretty well. BCH hasn't held up well, but in all honesty as well, being honest with myself, this does look like it wants to drop as well. So you probably LTCN do not hold the 618 as support, but you do go lower. I would expect, I mean, if this is a bull flag or a bear flag, and it could be a bear flag, from this high to low here, maybe it is a bear flag. If it is, I mean, that could take you all the way down to $61. That seems a bit extreme. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that seems a bit extreme. From the current price, I think that LTC will drop about 20 to 30%. It probably drops less than Bitcoin Cash, is what my thoughts are. And you've got nice areas of resistance back here, literally right there, right at that low, 19% drop right there. Nice areas of resistance there. Could find support right there, just below your lows, enough to capitulate people. You could keep going down and maybe you find support right somewhere in here where you have some closing support there, some resistance here, some support there, that's basically right there between 20 and 30%. $75, $67, somewhere in that range is where you're going to go. If LTC does that, and I think that it will, LTCN probably sees the same thing. So I don't know. Okay, that's good. Nice. So I doubt LTCN goes below 560. You'll be in your golden ratio zone. I like this. This from a FIB perspective just looks better in my opinion. I like that. But you're doing the same thing BCHG is doing, right? You've got your 1, 2, 3. I'm curious to see what this one would be. I don't think that it's going to be reciprocated, this one. Oh, okay. Well, we can work that out in a second. Hold on. I don't think it'll be reciprocated. Yeah, because that man. I mean, I don't see LTCN. Unless Litecoin just shits the bed, man, I don't see LTCN dropping 51%. It can happen. I don't think so, though. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I don't think so. Looking at this here, I do anticipate that you will also return to your highs, LTCN. But do you see new all-time highs? That's a bit more of a question to me. That's something that I'm not as confident in, right? I think it really does depend on LTC, but these are a lot bigger gains than what BCHG would have from its current prices to its highs. If you were to go higher, if you were to see a new high from a high to a low here, and you probably go lower, right? We're thinking, I don't know. We're thinking somewhere around that low there, though, right? Something like that. We're thinking maybe, if not new all-time highs, just below, somewhere around 430 to 330. Or if you do see new all-time highs, 700, maybe even $1,000 is possible. I could see this thing seeing a 100x or more from its current price. I could see that happening, but two things would need to happen. One, no ETF for Litecoin, not this cycle. Two, and no scares either. If you're scared, you're not going to see these crazy premiums because nobody's going to want to buy it with that looming either. So even if it doesn't happen, you need the scares to not happen. It's basically the same thing in one, right? Two, because like we've had this ETF scare the whole time and you've just been reverting back to your NAV price. Two, what we would need to see or not see. Oh yeah, what we would need to see is Litecoin perform basically exactly how I'm calling for it to perform, right? We could see 100x or more in LTCN. We could see some crazy growth and see that 1500 price if LTC itself does see targets that are up around like 6K, 4.5K, something like that. And I think that it will, but it all depends. It depends on a lot, right? There's a lot of questioning. And just because Litecoin gets to those areas doesn't mean LTCN has to. If there's a looming scare of an ETF being proposed or likely going to come, people aren't going to push the premium up as high on this, right? People will be aware of that and afraid of that. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe people don't care and they'll just degen out anyways. It is crypto after all. But lower for LTCN, lower for BCHG. Both of them I would anticipate see new all-time highs. LTCN I would say has a less likely chance of seeing new all-time highs, but that's not because I think it'll grow less, right? We look at BCHG again to get to its all-time highs from its current price. We put it on a monthly basis so it's easier. From this price here to its all-time highs, that's a 19x, 20x, right? LTCN to get to those all-time highs, we're talking about, what is that? That's a 60x. You know what I mean? So that's fair. That's not me saying LTCN's worse. I'm just saying it's got more work to go. So though I do still believe it goes to its all-time highs. BCHG I think will go through its all-time highs. LTCN debatable, but that debate becomes less debatable if we see these miraculous highs. If we do break through 2K and hit 4K, 6K, stuff like that, maybe if we go even higher. Like LTC, I have a really big feeling, very strong feeling that LTC and BCH are going to shock the world once they break out of their multi-cycle consolidation phases they've been bound by for the past two cycles. But time will tell. Let's finish this up. Let's talk about GLink here, GLNK. Hit that like button and subscribe, guys, if you haven't. GLNK, let's look at Link, because it's been a while since I've looked at Link too, actually. Chainlink here. In better shape than a lot of altcoins are. Maybe not the best coin. Still a good coin, though. Chainlink is anything but irrelevant, and it definitely has more growth to go. I'm assuming that from its current price, and it probably does drop like the rest of the markets, but I'm assuming from its current price it will see new all-time highs. If we do drop 20 to 30% with the rest of the market, that would take you to a slightly lower low. I don't know if you drop below this low, though. I like the idea of Chainlink seeing a double bottom. GLink, if Chainlink drops about 20% or so, GLink probably doesn't go below this low either. Though it is more volatile, it's a less liquid Grayscale trust, so it is possible it could go lower. Don't be upset if it does. You're finding support at prior areas of resistance. You can go a little bit below here and still be doing that, so it's fine. I just, at that point, like where are you going to find support? At a 40% drop, I don't see it happening. But it can happen. Just because I don't see it happening doesn't mean it can't happen. Weekly RSI, we're looking at this here, higher lows, getting overbought, not getting oversold. That's a good look. This one is probably one of the better Grayscale trusts, in my opinion, as far as looks go. You do have a bottom here. I wouldn't call it a triple bottom because you've got this low down here. I was about to call it that, but it's actually, I wouldn't worry about that at all. Fake out low. A little bit lower nonetheless is what I think you would do from here. But in time, yeah, I definitely believe GLink will see new all-time highs as well. Chainlink, we're anticipating from a high here to a low. And when I say in time, guys, I'm talking about like the end of this year, right? Like fall time for these Grayscale trusts or beyond. Chainlink probably sees anything from a 6x to potentially a 14x to potentially, 60, what is Chainlink's market cap? I know that it's not like incredibly high, but it is one of the higher ones, 10 billion. So $10 billion market cap, 65x. We're talking about a $600 billion market cap. I don't know about that. Maybe. Chainlink could hit that. If there's a coin at this market cap of 10 billion that could see that, I could see it being Chainlink. But let's stop. Let's stop and think about 100 billion first. I think a 14x is a good minimum. A 26x, 25x is a good kind of in between. 33x. That's about what the average coin is going to perform. So let's just guess that, right? Something in that kind of area there. If that's what Chainlink does, I would assume GLink sees something that's dramatically higher, right? We're talking about prices that'll likely be, I think, maybe around $3,000, above $1,400 maybe at a minimum, $3,000. You could even go up to $6,000, man. And this thing, I mean, genuinely, this thing is multi-hundred-xable. It's got a lot of potential. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Just because I'm saying that doesn't mean it has to happen. You could stop at all-time highs. Something could happen. This is a derivative of the original coin, of the actual asset. Anything can happen. Things outside of the protocol of Chainlink could happen that revolve negatively or reflect negatively on this. But it seems like you had a capitulative event down here with this candle, a lot of selling going on, and maybe you're recovering from that now, right? You're recovering slowly. When it comes time to move up is when Link moves up, and I think this thing will have a miraculous time. You'll definitely be worth, I would think, over not just $1,000, but over $1,400 and probably multiple thousands of dollars. I have a hard time seeing you get above 6,500, and even that in itself will be a challenge. But this thing has a lot of potential. It's probably the best one that I've looked at in the Grayscale Trust. I also think ETCG looks pretty good, honestly. All of these depend on their coins. ETCG and LTCN and ETCG are the ones that I think are a bit interesting because ETC and LTC could really shock the world. BCH could too, but I'm losing the faith that it sees 20K. It's inappropriate to say, I suppose, but I am losing faith that we see 20K by the end of the cycle. But I do think, depending on how this next breakout looks, if it's everything we dreamed it would be, BCHG could really perform as well. These ones are all kind of wild cards because they've been in and ETC hasn't been in a multi-cycle consolidation phase, but ETCG here has been at a discount. It has been in kind of like a multi-cycle consolidation phase. Is it going to break out to new all-time highs? If ETC does, ETCG being one of the more appetizing plays at a discount here, you could see a lot of interest come into here, especially if there's a new narrative with ETC. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I definitely have high hopes for LTCN and Link and BCHG and ETCG. I definitely do. But and Mana, really, and HSEN, all of them, right? But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I've got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.